Life has a way of throwing challenges at us that seem impossible to overcome. There are moments when doors close, opportunities slip away, and circumstances appear to conspire against us. It is in these moments when disappointment presses hard and the weight of failure feels unbearable that we are most tempted to give up. But what if I told you that every setback you've experienced was never meant to defeat you? What if I told you that every delay, every no, every closed door was actually part of God's divine setup to bring you to a greater purpose? Too often, we look at the obstacles in our path and allow them to define our story, forgetting that setbacks are not permanent. They are temporary instruments of preparation. They are the tools God uses to shape us, to refine our character, and to ready us for the next level of our lives. What looks like failure on the surface may actually be the beginning of your breakthrough. Every setback carries a lesson, every disappointment carries wisdom, and every period of waiting carries a hidden blessing. The universe, or rather God, is always at work behind the scenes, turning what seems like a detour into a strategic route toward your destiny. You may not see it today. You may feel stuck, frustrated, or overlooked, but the truth is that God's timing is perfect, and your current struggle is laying the foundation for a future that will exceed your imagination. Imagine a seed planted in the darkness of the soil. At first it looks lifeless, buried beneath weight and dirt, but inside that seed is all the potential to grow into something magnificent. Your setbacks are like that soil. They may feel heavy, confining, and discouraging, but they are nourishing you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. God is using these moments to cultivate patience, to strengthen your faith, and to build resilience that will sustain you when the doors of opportunity finally open. Setbacks teach you lessons that success never can. They remind you of your reliance on God. They sharpen your vision, and they force you to align your steps with a higher plan. Do not despise the difficulty. Do not resent the delay. Instead, see it as a divine preparation, a setup orchestrated by a power far greater than any obstacle you face. Every setback you endure is a step closer to the life you are meant to live. Every moment of frustration is a moment in which your character is being molded. Every closed door is simply a redirect to a door that will open in perfect alignment with your destiny. Your setbacks are not punishments. They are strategic setups for your breakthrough. They are the bridge between where you are now and where God intends for you to be. Timing is everything in life, but too often we measure it by our own clocks, our own expectations, and our own impatience. We want things to happen now, immediately, and when they don't, we begin to doubt, we begin to question, and we begin to wonder if God has forgotten us. But the truth is that God's timing is never late, and it is never early. It is always perfect. The seasons of life, the waiting periods, the delays, and the times of silence, they are all part of a divine schedule that is beyond our understanding. You see, God works in ways that are often invisible to the human eye. What looks like a delay, what feels like stagnation, is often the very moment God is orchestrating the events of your life in alignment with His purpose. Trusting His timing means letting go of the need to control, letting go of the anxiety of why not now, and embracing the truth that God's plan is greater than anything we could imagine. Too often, we rush into things, we force situations, and we settle for what is available rather than waiting for what is appointed. Patience is not passive, it is active faith. It is standing firm in the belief that God is working even when we cannot see the outcome. Waiting is not wasted time, it is preparation. Every moment you spend in patience, every prayer you offer in faith, every act of trust is building a foundation for what is to come. Remember, some things cannot happen until the right moment arrives. Some doors will not open until your heart is ready, your character is refined, and your steps are aligned. God's timing ensures that your life unfolds in the perfect sequence, maximizing blessings and minimizing setbacks. Trusting God's timing requires a surrender of your own agenda and a recognition that your vision is limited, but God's vision is limitless. It requires faith that what is coming is far greater than what you are leaving behind. The Bible reminds us that there is a season for everything, a time to plant, a time to harvest, a time to wait, and a time to move. When we honor these seasons, we honor God's plan. When we resist them, we only create frustration and disappointment. So this morning, release your grip on the clock. Release your fear that things are not happening fast enough, and declare with boldness that God is never late. Trust that He is aligning every circumstance, every relationship, and every opportunity to bring you to the exact place you are meant to be. Believe that the waiting, the delay, and the uncertainty are temporary, and that the fulfillment of God's promises is imminent. When you learn to trust His timing, you stop chasing and start receiving. You stop forcing and start flowing. You stop doubting and start believing. God's perfect plan is always unfolding, and His timing will never fail you. Struggle is not something we often welcome, but it is one of the most powerful tools God uses to transform us. Every trial, every difficulty, every moment of pain carries with it the potential for growth, wisdom, and strength. Life will test you, not to break you, but to build you. Those seasons of struggle, those nights when sleep is hard to come by, those days when it feels like the world is pressing in from every side, these are the moments that shape your character, refine your spirit, and prepare you for your destiny. Transformation rarely comes in comfort. It comes in challenge. It comes in the fire, in the pressure, in the moments when you are forced to reach deeper than you ever have before. The struggles you face are not punishments. They are lessons, opportunities, and invitations to step into the fullness of who you were created to be. Every hardship is designed to teach you patience, humility, and perseverance. It is in struggle that you learn to depend not on your own strength, but on God's power working through you. You may feel weak, tired, and even defeated at times, but it is precisely in those moments that God's strength becomes evident in your life. Transformation through struggle requires perspective. It requires understanding that pain is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a chapter that will lead to victory. When you face challenges, don't run from them, don't resent them, and don't ignore them. Confront them with faith, knowing that God is using these experiences to mold you into a vessel capable of carrying the purpose He has placed inside of you. Struggle develops resilience. It teaches you to rise after you fall, to keep going when the path seems impossible, and to hold on to hope when everything around you suggests despair. Those who embrace struggle emerge stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the opportunities ahead. Your trials are shaping your perspective, your mindset, and your faith. They are refining your vision and sharpening your focus. In the midst of struggle, God is doing a work inside you that cannot be replicated in comfort or ease. Transformation through struggle is also about alignment. It aligns your priorities, clarifies your purpose, and deepens your connection to God. Every struggle is an invitation to surrender, to trust, and to grow closer to the source of your strength. Do not despise the challenge. Do not shrink from the discomfort. Instead, see it as a divine classroom where you are being equipped for greatness. One day, when you look back, you will realize that those struggles were not obstacles. They were the building blocks of your breakthrough. They were the refining fire that prepared you for the glory, the success, and the purpose that awaited you. Every struggle endured in faith is a testimony in the making, a story of triumph that will inspire and encourage others. God is transforming you even when it hurts, even when it seems slow, and even when the world cannot see it. There is power in your words, and there is power in your prayers. What you speak over yourself and what you lift to God has the ability to shape your reality, to shift your circumstances, and to open doors that seem firmly closed. Too often, we underestimate the authority we have when we align our words with faith. Declaration is not just speaking, it is believing out loud. It is claiming the promises of God, and it is refusing to let fear or doubt define your future. Prayer is more than a routine or a habit. It is a direct line to the source of all power, wisdom, and provision. When you combine declaration with prayer, you are actively partnering with God to bring heaven's solutions into earthly situations. You are not a passive observer of your life. You are an active participant, using faith and words as tools to move mountains, to change timelines, and to release blessings that have been held back. The Bible teaches us that life and death are in the power of the tongue. What you speak, you release. When you speak hope, victory, and purpose over your life, you begin to shift the energy around you. You begin to see doors open that were previously locked. You begin to experience breakthroughs in ways you could not accomplish through effort alone. Prayer and declaration also strengthen your faith. Each time you lift your voice in faith, each time you boldly claim God's promises, you are training your spirit to trust Him more deeply. You are creating a mindset that refuses to be limited by setbacks, challenges, or delays. This is why it is so critical to speak life over yourself daily. Say it when you wake up. Say it when doubts arise. Say it when the world tries to convince you that your breakthrough is impossible. Speak words of hope, power, and destiny over your life, because those words carry spiritual authority that moves things in the unseen realm. Prayer is the amplifier. It is the bridge between what is now and what is coming. Prayer strengthens your declarations and aligns your spirit with God's will. When you pray boldly, when you speak confidently, you are telling God and the universe that you are ready, that you are willing, and that you trust the process. Never underestimate the simple act of declaring God's promises over your life. Never underestimate the transformative effect of consistent prayer. Together, they are unstoppable. They have the power to shift situations, to bring peace in the midst of chaos, and to turn setbacks into setups. So today, I challenge you, speak boldly, pray fervently, and claim your destiny. Let your words reflect faith, let your prayers reflect hope, and let your heart remain steadfast in belief. The breakthrough, the favor, and the fulfillment of God's purpose for your life are responding to your declarations and your prayers. Your voice matters, your faith matters, your persistence matters. And the God you serve is faithful to honor both. There is a promise on your life today that no setback, no disappointment, and no season of waiting can cancel. Breakthrough is coming and restoration is on its way. I want you to understand that God's timing is perfect and He has not forgotten you. Every closed door you have faced, every tear you have shed, every prayer you have offered in the quiet of your heart has been noticed. The moments that felt like failure, the moments that felt like defeat are all preparing you for a restoration so powerful that it will overwhelm your imagination. Breakthrough does not always arrive in the way we expect. Sometimes it comes in a whisper, sometimes it comes in a wave. But when it comes, it changes everything. Restoration is the evidence of God's faithfulness. It is the tangible sign that the struggles, the waiting, and the setbacks were never wasted. Restoration brings back what was lost, restores what was broken, and replenishes what was emptied. What you have been waiting for, what you have been longing to see, is nearer than you think. God is working behind the scenes to orchestrate connections, opportunities, and divine encounters that will turn your situation around. You may not see it now, but the alignment is happening. The favor you need is being released. The resources you require are being mobilized. The doors that were once closed are being unlocked. And when your breakthrough arrives, it will not just be a small step forward. It will be a leap into the destiny God has designed for you. Sometimes people give up right before their miracle appears. They lose hope because the struggle seems too long or the waiting seems too heavy. But I am here to tell you that the breakthrough you need is on its way. Restoration is coming. That house, that relationship, that job, that health, that opportunity, all of it is returning, multiplied, replenished, and renewed. Nothing you have suffered is in vain. Every tear, every disappointment, every moment of doubt has been part of a process designed by God to bring you into a new season. And in that new season, you will stand as living proof that God never abandons those who trust him. Your life will be a testimony. Your story will be an encouragement. And your breakthrough will inspire those who are still waiting. Restoration is not just about receiving back what you lost. It is about stepping into a future greater than your past. It is about God taking the pieces of your life, the brokenness, the setbacks, and transforming them into something beautiful, powerful, and purposeful. So do not despair. Do not grow weary. Look up, look forward, hold on. The season of breakthrough and restoration is here. God is bringing back everything you lost, everything you needed, and everything you were meant to have. Get ready to celebrate because the wait is over and your breakthrough has arrived. Faith without action is faith without power. It is not enough to believe, to hope, or to declare. God calls us to move when he prompts us, to step forward even when the path is uncertain, and to act in alignment with the purpose he has placed inside us. Action in faith is the bridge between the promise and the fulfillment. It is the step that transforms potential into reality. You may have prayed, you may have declared, and you may have waited, but God's plan often requires your participation. He moves when you move. He opens doors when you walk toward them. He blesses obedience. The moment you decide to rise, to move, to take that first step, despite fear, doubt, or uncertainty, you activate the power of God in your life. Too many people remain stagnant, waiting for everything to be perfect before they act. They wait for circumstances to change, for fear to vanish, or for clarity to arrive. But faith calls you to move forward even in the fog, even in the uncertainty, even when the end is not yet visible. Action in faith requires courage, persistence, and trust. It requires you to release the limits of your own understanding and lean fully into God's guidance. Each step taken in obedience positions you for a breakthrough. Each decision to act demonstrates your trust in God and invites his power to intervene. Remember, God honors the steps of faith, not just the words of faith. When you act, doors that were locked begin to open. Opportunities that were hidden begin to appear. Favor that seemed distant moves swiftly toward you. Faith without action remains a seed that never sprouts. Action without faith may stumble, but faith-driven action is unstoppable. It propels you forward even when the world says you cannot, even when circumstances seem impossible. God often asks us to do the next right thing, not the perfect thing. And in that obedience, miracles are released. Do not underestimate the power of small steps. A single act of faith can set in motion a series of events that lead to your breakthrough, your restoration, and your purpose. When you move in faith, you are declaring to God and to the universe that you are ready, that you are willing, and that you trust him with the outcome. Action in faith also inspires others. Your courage, your persistence, and your willingness to step forward despite fear will encourage those around you to believe, to act, and to trust. Your faith becomes a catalyst for a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own life. So today, rise up with boldness. Take that step. Make that call. Speak that word. Pursue that opportunity. Move in the direction of your destiny. God is calling you to walk in obedience, to act with courage, and to trust that every step you take in faith brings you closer to the fulfillment of His promises. Your breakthrough is not passive, it requires your active participation. Move forward, act boldly, and watch God meet you in the steps you take.